The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNC now.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees all things new. I am Queenie Rehman and I'm streaming live from Taguig City. Good afternoon and welcome to Crypto Chic on TNC.
And I am Joseph Sylvester and I'm streaming live from Parañaque City. Good afternoon. Welcome to the world premiere of blockchain news and education. Decentralized finance, cryptos, and the Massa. Season 1, Episode 3 on TNC. All right, hey guys, we have a very informative show for you guys today. Okay, we're going to explore decentralized finance or DeFi. We are also going to understand a bit about FinTech and know the difference between the two. Then we'll discuss the DeFi Stack. This episode's objective is to inform the audience on how we can take the information we learned today, utilize that information properly, and hopefully you guys can get started on your own DeFi project. Now, before we begin, if you are new to the show, my name is Joseph Sylvester. You can also call me Sly. With me today is Queenie Rehman, our host for the show. She is the Chief Innovation Officer of Crypto Chic. Hi, Ms. Rehman. How are you today?
Hi Sly, I'm doing good. I'm so excited to be on the show. It's my first time here on the Crypto Chic on TNC, and I'm really excited to discuss about the decentralized finance. So I believe we have lots to cover, and hopefully the information presented today can help those understand what's going on behind the scenes of DeFi. Also, you may call me Queenie.
All right. So Queenie, so that's great. So let's get started. So let's try to cover as much as we can on today's show because there's lots to discuss. We got DeFi, FinTech, DeFi Stack, and hopefully we can discuss a bit on how the audience can create their own DeFi project. So I'll give you the floor. So let's talk about DeFi. So without further ado, Queenie, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much for that slide. So hi guys, let's begin. So the term DeFi or decentralized finance I'm referring to is the blockchain and cryptocurrency finance side. So DeFi means decentralized finance. It's considered open finance or permissionless finance, utilizing blockchain technology that contains little to no bureaucracy, with real-time security provided by the blockchain. Yes, you can see that's it. Like. So DeFi aims to be accessible, efficient, permissionless, immutable, interoperable, and transparent to allow for the democratization of financial instruments for everyone. So anybody can use it. So it really resembles blockchain technology and what it stands for, which is decentralized, That's number one. It's open, public, permissionless, and more. This means anyone, and I mean anyone, can utilize blockchain technology. There is no governing authority, so no bureaucracy, just smart contracts and everyday people interacting with the blockchain. So that's DeFi. Now, let's discuss FinTech naman. This stands for financial technology. It is an upgrade of our current financial system that revolves under centralized finance. Okay, so ang difference nun kasi with DeFi, it's decentralized, while FinTech, it's centralized finance. A good example of centralized finance are banks. Yan. So banks don't necessarily talk to each other the way blockchain technology does because they operate within their own system. So if they do communicate with other banks, it would be through an intermediary system we call SWIFT, as you can see at the slide, which stands for Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. And so fintech is just one level above centralized finance. Parang na-upgrade lang siya yung sa mga banks, di ba, with centralized finance. So meaning it can use blockchain, additional siya. So, but it is still governed by regulations. And so, ang difference na talaga with fintech, it's governed by regulations, while DeFi, anybody can use it. There's no governing authority. It also may lack the back assets for transactions and settlement. Lastly, they rely on your trust in a single fintech entity, which is similar to how most people put trust in their country's fiat. Diba?
Okay.
Tama ba ako, slide?
Yeah, all right. So you defined DeFi and FinTech. You also mentioned that trust is involved. People may have a different opinion on where to place their trust, though. Well, for example, even though blockchain is a trustless system, there's going to be bad actors in blockchain, especially in NFTs, even in gaming. So most notably, if you remember, there was a case for Terra Luna. The project literally rug pulled everyone. So those holding Terra Luna tokens or coins were exposed to a huge amount of risk. Okay, so here's the question. So, so this is my question: where or to whom do I place my trust when it comes to DeFi? Because some of our viewers may just be getting into cryptocurrency finance or may be involved in a DeFi platform. Can we expand a bit more on the trust aspect? For example, what do I, as a normal individual, need to know first before I engage in DeFi?
Yes, of course, I need to emphasize that when it comes to DeFi, the responsibility is in the hands of the individuals to maintain their own risk levels. Meaning, the more research you do about a project, the more you will know if that platform is something worth engaging in. So people are guardians of their own money and no one else. So when people engage on DeFi platforms, whether it is PancakeSwap, SushiSwap, or Uniswap, people need to take note that these platforms are here for everyone to use and they are responsible for their own assets of these platforms. So before we start to engage with these platforms, what we need to do first is to do some research. Sobrang importante yan kasi of course, sa kahit sang bagay naman, before you invest with anything, your money, your assets, you need to do your due diligence first. So you need to do some research into what this platform is all about. Because whether you like it or not, everything comes back to the user in regards to settlement.
Okay.
Meaning, if I use the DeFi platform, or I swap or trade coins or tokens, whatever I swap or trade it for, I need to ask myself three things, which is very important when it comes to researching on the platform. Diba? So, number one, where can I use the coin or token? Number two, does this coin or token have some money value attached to it, which is very important? And lastly, number three, how do I get rid of it to mitigate loss if the value drops? So that's what happened with Terra Luna, right? It's like they really need to have these three things to check on before they invest their money into a company which they really don't know yet about. So the
Okay.
concern now is settlement, meaning I have this coin or token that I swapped out for. So the question is, what can I do with this? So when you have that coin or token, so you have three questions that you should ask yourself. Can I cash out to Philippine peso or cash, any kind of fiat? Number two, can I use this to access things on this particular platform? If talagang pwede siyang gamitin dito sa mga platforms na to sa slide. And number three, can I trade this for something else like another coin or token? Kung pwede ko bang iswap siya with another coin like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or other coins are out there. So this is what I mean by settlement. So you have those three: cashing out to Philippine peso or any fiat. If you can use this to access things, and if you can trade it for something else, like for another coin or token. So once I get this token, for example, after a transaction like a swap, what benefit or advantage do I have versus the other coins or tokens I can swap or trade it for?
Okay, I got you. So you mentioned settlement. So let's take, for example, I'm thinking, let's take, for example, like an NFT game like Axie Infinity. So in the game, basically, you now battle it out with other players online because they took the adventure part out. So the only way to win, to get SLP, sorry, in Axie Infinity is you need to battle it out. You need to win the match, and if you win, you earn SLP. So in this case, SLP is what you are given if you win the battle. Would that be considered settlement?
Yes, absolutely. Some would call it a reward for winning. However, settlement in this case is SLP. If you think about the mechanics of Axie Infinity, in order to use this platform, you need to buy up Axie monsters. Okay, so those monsters are in an NFT form, but they are cryptocurrency tokens. Yeah, so these tokens, aka Axie monsters, are the collateral you give up or loan, diba? Temporarily to do battle on the Axie Infinity's platform. The platform rewards or repays back the winner of this temporary loan a small portion of SLP back. So parang, for example, if I do an analogy with the bank, if I'm gonna invest something with the bank, like I'm gonna give my money to them. So in that case, they will give me like an interest, for example, like
Right.
in a savings account. So that small interest is like the SLP that we have here with Axie. So parang ganun
Okay.
siya. So you can also apply the same thing to the Axie staking feature they have. The settlement here is the Axie token. Okay, so the Axie token is being used as a collateral in the stake. This means you stake or loan Axie tokens to a smart contract that handles the Axie staking. So over time, while they have your Axie tokens, you earn additional Axie as repayment of loaning out your Axie tokens. Diba? So yun talagang kinagandahan when the platform has a staking feature, because once you are letting them keep your tokens, of course, they will repay you back with some rewards. Some are also the same. They can reward you with the same tokens or coins, or sometimes it's like two tokens, right? It's like or 2 points every
Hmm.
time you keep your asset with them. So
Right.
people who have coins or tokens stake or loan out their tokens to a liquidity pool. So dito na pupunta yung mga nasa stake nila na coins and tokens. So in this case, it's in the form of a smart contract. The coins or tokens staked on that smart contract will provide your wallet's address additional coins or tokens. So because you provide liquidity. Yeah. So the term we use here is called liquidity provider, because users provide liquidity usually to what is called a LP or liquidity pool. You will see decentralized exchanges and centralized exchanges use this term and provide incentives for users who provide liquidity to their exchange platform. Yeah, so
Hmm.
they always give back to you whenever you let them keep your coins or tokens, you get rewarded for that. So yun
Right.
yung kinagandahan nun.
Right. So I kind of see the example here in terms of how banks and what DeFi does, and in terms of what you mentioned with staking. So just like what you said, staking, when you give the banks money, over time they give you some interest back.
Yeah.
Same thing with DeFi. It sounds like almost the same thing, really, but I provide money to a liquidity pool, and then over time I get tokens or some kind of incentive back in the form of cryptocurrency. So it's starting to make a lot more sense. And it's good that you clarified this for the users out there. So I guess in a way, both you and I can agree that most of what's out there in regards to blockchain, cryptocurrency, and DeFi all deal with this idea called settlement.
Yes, of course, it's really very important because you can't just let anyone keep your asset without, getting something in return. So that's what's gonna make you really stay with the platform or the company. So I want to elaborate a bit more on settlement because to fully understand why I mentioned the word settlement is because it is part of the decentralized financial stack or DeFi stack for short.
Oh, okay.
Basically, a DeFi stack consists of 5 layers. So this is really very important, guys. So let's discuss the 5 layers one at a time. Yeah, centralized financial stack. So itong pinakauna, layer 1. This is the settlement layer. So we need to ask what coin or token is being used as a collateral when you use this DeFi platform. And importante talaga yan na you need to know what coin or token that you want to use as a collateral. Layer 2 naman is this is the asset layer. So meaning what coins or tokens are backing up this project's assets or what assets that have value are backing this project. So for example, when you create a coin or a token, kailangan talaga merong naka-back up dyan eh. Like for example, with currency pairs, like with Euro USD. With Euro, it's always paired with USD kasi they have this kind of exchange that they must do in order to maintain their value. So parang ganun din siya with this one. Kailangan may naka-backup na token or coin, especially coin, to maintain its value. So let's go to layer 3. This is the protocol layer. We want to know what features that does this DeFi platform allow users to participate in. For example, like in swaps, gagamitin mo ba siya sa swaps, or sa loaning, borrowing, yun, or staking. So, yun yung mga features na pwedeng gamitin mo with the token in a particular platform. So, layer 4 naman, this is the application layer. This is where blockchain is used to help facilitate transactions. So, we need to know what blockchain is being used. Diba? This involves smart contracts. There are so many blockchain networks out there, right? Like Bitcoin, Ethereum blockchain,
Right. Polygon as well.
Polygon,
AVAX,
and
Solana.
what's that one? The Arbitrum? I forgot the like something like that. It's like it starts with the letter A. It's another blockchain network, and
I
Solana.
think. Oh, Azure. Is it Azure?
It's Arbitrum or something.
Okay.
Arbitrum. I'm not sure. And Solana and the Terra network. So we have a lot of networks out there. So you need to consider what kind of blockchain network that you want to use. So this involves smart contracts. So doon naman yun yung application layer. So let's go to layer 5 naman. This is the aggregation layer. This is what users interact with. Usually the front end of a dApp. So it's like, correct me if I'm wrong, Asla, is it like a dashboard?
Yeah, because I think from what's being discussed here, like whenever we deal with anything where we like click on something on, let's say, our monitors. So for example, if you just go to any website out there and you click sign in, login, that's always on the front end. So yeah, so a dashboard would be very similar in this.
It's like a landing page.
Yeah. So it's like the graphical user interface. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the user's experience Is the user experience seamless? So importante kung talagang is it user friendly, quick and smooth, diba? More importantly, is it functional? Does the platform perform the functions of a swap or stake properly? So you have a lot of these questions that you should consider. So by understanding these five layers, what we start to understand is that most DeFi platforms use the DeFi stack as their blueprint to set up their project. So napaka-importante talaga to kasi itong foundation when you create your own business or your own project in the DeFi. So as a business, this is important because it clearly defines the roadmap of what that projects will become. For individuals naman, this represents what to research for before interacting with a particular DeFi platform. So when you do your due diligence with a specific company, you need to see all of these layers first in order to know if they're really a legit company. Kasi like what, for example, sa sinabi mo sa akin, it's like kanina with Luna, Luna with the Luna coin, they got rug pulled. So maybe they really don't have that um, exact um, like this like those layers are not really met in the
Got you.
yeah. So
Right.
usually it happens a lot in cryptocurrency. So you really need to do your own research with all of these things. So that's really very important.
Right. No, I think that's very important because, especially in the NFT area of blockchain and cryptocurrency, I mean, a lot of NFT projects pretty much rug pulled on a lot of people and investors. And I guess what people need to understand now is because what you mentioned about the DeFi stack, we can have a better understanding of when we look at projects, whether it be a DeFi project on OpenSea or some project that just came up out there. I think this is going to be very important because, like, for example, I go back to the idea of Terra Luna. Of course, when you look at the DeFi stack layer by layer, of course, Terra Luna would be the Terra, that would be layer one. Okay, now layer two, I think this is where people kind of not ask themselves, okay, so what is backing up Terra Luna? See, that's layer two, and that would be, the asset layer of what backs it up. Okay, and so on and
Alam mo
so
kasi,
forth.
Sai, ang problem kasi with most people, when they invest in something, they just follow the trend. It's like when it's really popular, oh, parang like with Dogecoin, diba? It's really popular at that time, or Shiba, like that, or whatever coin out there. When people are buying and just investing with these coins, they really, I think most of them really don't do their own research. They just go with the trend. Then like one day it's gonna be rock pulled and you don't even know why. Then you just lose your money just like that.
And I think, and I totally agree with you because a lot of the times, and I probably you've encountered this too, where like I know, I mean, do you do trading, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so when you do trading, I'm assuming you're proficient at it, and then people ask you, hey, what do you think of this coin? And then you give them their opinion. You feel like sometimes a lot of the opinions that are being asked,
Mhm.
they don't ask the right questions. It's more like, do I invest in it or do I not? That's what it really comes down to sometimes,
Yeah,
I
it's
would
so
assume.
that's always the case. That's why it's really very important that you do your own research. Just go to their website and just see the white paper and the roadmap of the company, and always check if they're backed up with an important or like a heavy asset.
Right, that's true. And I think when you really think about what happened, and you can apply what happened to Terra Luna to pretty much anything that rug pulled a lot of investors, is the fact that no one, I think, in my personal opinion, a lot of people did not review the layer two aspect of the DeFi stack of this particular project,
There, yes.
because I'm thinking if they did some research and kind of followed the money trail, I think layer two would have solved a lot of people's problems in terms of should I invest in it or should I not? Yeah,
Yeah, it's really very important.
right. But of course, I mean that's again, I think what we need to clarify to the audience really is the fact that I guess when it comes to DeFi, I think the most emphasized point that you're trying to make in your presentation here is the fact that we need to do our own due diligence, because when you look at blockchain and all this cryptocurrency stuff, yeah, I mean, a lot of projects can provide white papers. They can provide a very nice, seamless application, things
And
like
some are
that.
even like they have like scam websites.
Yeah, and you know what? Even the scam
Right.
websites look legit.
Mhm. I think the best way for people to know if a company is really legit, they should always check like CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. They can go there and see the liquidity or the market cap of that certain um, coin. So that's really very important. And
No, that,
also, what,
yeah.
what I also learned with other projects is that whenever they whenever they launch this certain coin, you need it's like they have this like threshold that you can't withdraw your money.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
So in order for your assets to be protected, so there's
Mm,
gonna be like it's gonna be rug pull um, proof, something like that.
right. And
You need to
that,
look for these companies like rug pull proof.
right. And I think that's also important to look into the companies. Like for me, when it comes to a lot of the blockchain projects, sometimes I need to check out who are the team members. And a majority of the times, some legitimate blockchain projects actually show the names of the team members, who's doing what. But a majority of the times, sometimes these blockchain projects, what they would do is they have a nice, beautiful website. And then what tends to happen is you don't get to see the important stuff, like who are the team members. So that way, you as the individual can look into their, you kind of have to look into their background in terms of what they've done. And that, I guess that's another part of the whole DeFi thing is, yeah, it's the idea that you have to do your own research. You have to look into a lot of things because, again, as you mentioned in your presentation, we're talking about when it comes to DeFi, the users they're the ones holding their own money. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that's kind of the important thing, and hopefully the audience kind of takes that into heart in terms of what they should do now in terms of with all this knowledge. So yeah, so now before we move on, one of the things is I think what I want to try to say here is that I guess in terms of, let me see, layer 4, I think most of the times it's going to be Ethereum. But again, how about this? Let's come back to this probably after the break and then discuss a little bit more. How about that?
Okay, sure. Let's have a break.
All right. We'll see you guys after the break, guys.
Guys. TNC is a live stream platform of online shows for people on the go. Please watch out all our shows as seen on screen. Imagine having your own show, your own playlist, your own content, but we make it easier for you. TNC aims to transform the lives of our viewers through engaging, authentic, and original content. Our vision is to become a global 24/7 live stream channel that showcases Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity. You can watch live or on replay via Facebook or YouTube. Follow us on IG, listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Just search hashtag TNC Now. For sponsorships, please email now at thenewchannel.com or send us a DM. Enjoy these life changing shows because we made it for you.
All right. So welcome back, guys. So again, just to kind of continue where we left off, we were talking about the DeFi stack or the 5 layers of the DeFi stack and discussing certain projects out there that are currently, progressing. One of the things I mentioned before the break was the idea of layer 4. You, I'm, you mentioned Queenie. You mentioned a certain blockchain out there that you totally forgot, and I think that's also going to be important for the audience because the audience might be introduced to um, uncommon blockchains. For example, you and I both know Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polygon, Binance Smart Chain. These are well-known blockchains. But at the same time, there's always other projects out there that say, hey, they have this particular blockchain with this particular coin or token. And then people are scratching their heads saying, I've never heard of that blockchain. So again, I think what it comes down to is kind of going back to the idea of doing the research on what is the blockchain as well. Like, what does it do? Yeah.
Yes. Like, for example, right now we have Solana,
Right.
diba?
Oh, Solana's giving me a headache. Yes.
Solana blockchain. I believe Solana is really good because it's way faster than Bitcoin and Ethereum and other blockchains out there, and the gas fees are lower.
Right. But the thing to add on to the Solana blockchain, I think just recently, the Solana blockchain. I mean, I personally like programming on Solana blockchain, but the problem now is, as great of a blockchain as Solana is, the problem that now we're encountering is that the entire Solana blockchain went down globally. So even if you're trying to use it, even though it's a great project, I mean, you still kind of have to now I guess deal with those external factors that okay, blockchain Solana, you kind of failed me. I can't send transactions out. I can't view my NFTs. But I guess that's one of the things that people have to do research on as well. How stable is that particular blockchain? You know?
Yes, actually, because it's still new, maybe that's why they're not really that stable yet. Like, for example, with Bitcoin, of course, when it was still new, there are some like bugs that they need to fix. So they always need to upgrade on certain things to improve the blockchain network, to
No,
improve.
that's true because when Bitcoin came out, it had a lot of bugs, and one of the things that when Bitcoin came out was the fact that as Bitcoin as a blockchain, and this we're talking about way in the past, like right after its inception, I think in 2009, yeah, 2009, is that somewhere around right before Ethereum launched, which was 2014, Bitcoin finally solved the double spend problem, which was the fact that the double spend problem was the issue where when people sent Bitcoin, the blockchain didn't check the wallet address or the sender's wallet address if they had the Bitcoin in the first place. And by fixing that problem, the double spend problem, what they created, which is now like the template for all blockchain and how all cryptocurrency applications work now, is called the UTX model, which is the unspent transaction output. Basically, what that does is that it is now required for all blockchains to have this inputted into their network to make sure that the sender always has the coins in their wallet first before they send out. So again, I so these little tidbits of knowledge, I think the audience will really appreciate now because now they know what to expect from an upcoming blockchain project.
Yeah, and I also know about this website that people should go to, like the blockchain. Is it blockchain.com too? So
Yeah.
you can check how many confirmations are there in order for you to receive or send the like the coin.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, you're correct.
Or-
I believe, yeah, okay. So the term is actually called Blockchain Explorer, and every
Yeah.
blockchain out there, um, even the ones that are coming up, they have what is known as a blockchain explorer. So, like you said, blockchain.com, that's for pretty much anything blockchain. I think it covers Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin. Yeah. And then if you're doing Ethereum transactions and you want to check the transaction, you can go to Etherscan. But the point is, every blockchain out there has their own version of what is called a block explorer to check for transactions.
So
So,
Solana has it too.
yeah, every blockchain. Solana has its own block explorer. The one thing I like about Solana's block explorer is the fact that yes, you can see the transactions, but what's even more nice is that if you do like an NFT transaction, you get to actually see the picture of the NFT. I don't see that with Ethereum, so that's a nice little feature Solana has for its block explorer.
Yep. It's really nice, huh?
No,
I
it
haven't
is.
seen that yet.
No,
NFT picture.
it's pretty cool, and hopefully the other blockchains that do involve themselves with NFTs also show the picture as well. It's a nice little confirmation tool, you know.
Yeah, I think they should really do that since NFTs are mostly images nowadays. So you
Actually,
really need to see the cover of the NFT per NFT.
it's funny that you mentioned that NFTs are not just are pictures, but the surprising part, especially when we talk about the DeFi stack too, because I think that is more towards the layer 5, which is the aggregation layer, which is basically the front end. NFTs can actually be anything. Like you can do art, you can do music, you can do video, and you can actually do 3D art, which is really nice too.
I'm excited to do an NFT storefront, which I think our audience will know soon.
Yeah, I think yeah, and hopefully the audience will take note that when it comes to a lot of the NFTs, I think what the audience should kind of take in, especially when it comes to the DeFi stack, is that when it comes to NFTs, it's not so much that it's a picture, video, music, or a 3D image that you just plop onto a blockchain, but it's the fact that the amount of information you can put onto that NFT to
Yeah.
make it unique versus putting a plain description and saying, "Oh, this is my nice art," things like that, and that's it.
Multi NFT.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Oh
the
yeah.
more creative you are with a certain NFT, the more it's valuable.
Right. Right. No, that's a good point because that's what an NFT is. Because if it's not unique, it's still an NFT because it's an NFT. But again, you come down to the idea of the non-fungible token part, where yeah, it's made by you or it's made by an artist. It is unique to that person because they probably hand drawn it or did some kind of digital art, but it is unique. But I think the one point that makes it kind of related to the DeFi stack is the amount of information. Like, when did you do this? What brush styles? What color inks? And all that information that you can place onto a single NFT to kind of give it that value, that reason why a person wants to buy it, you know?
Yes. So I
Okay.
have a question. Can you like make a coin as an NFT or a token? Can you do something like that?
Can you make a coin into a token, like an NFT? So the answer is, by definition, an NFT is a token. Okay, by definition, the um, for example, let's talk about coins. So I think the standard out there for creating a token on Ethereum would be the ERC20 standard, right? So when you make your coin under the token under the ERC20 standard, okay, you create a token. Okay, now by the by the same token, when you create an NFT using the ERC721 standard, it's still a token. Okay, so to answer the question, yeah, you can create like a token into an NFT because it's already a token. Now, what makes it the NFT is the fact that under the ERC721 standard, it's the fact that you can add data to this particular token that you created. In ERC20, what you're basically doing is creating a supply, giving the token a name, the send and receive functions, and that's it. But with the NFT part, you create the token, and then you can put a lot of other layers, such as information, which we call metadata.
Subtokens. Can you say that it's a subtoken? Subtokens?
In a sense, yes, you can call it a subtoken because what's happening is that, okay, so we're talking about programming here, which I think is more towards the layer 3, the protocol layer, which is true. So here's the thing. Subtokens. Is it a subtoken? In a sense, yes, it is, because when you create an NFT, if you are familiar with sites like Rarible or OpenSea, they have what is known as a collection. That collection is the token, okay? The token that you, the creator, are about to create and put all your pictures, all your, whatever you minted, that collection is your tokens, because that is the collection name you have given your collection. So yes, sub-tokens. Because on OpenSea, everybody out there does not use the same tokens because they created their own collection. So the collection is that creators or that minters sub-token for their NFTs. So does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
Right.
It's a lot to take in for for someone who's just a beginner. So we should really like explain it like really slow and very informative, so they can really understand what we're talking about.
That's true. And a lot of the things that we're discussing right now all comes down to the DeFi stack. So we talked about, the protocol layer in terms of the programming part. We talked about the application layer, which is the blockchain. Which blockchain is this platform using? Is it a mainstream blockchain, or is it something I don't know? If it's something I don't know, I got to do research on this, and so on and so forth with the other layers. It's the idea that, what is this project all about? So just going back now, so this DeFi stack, so I kind of have a question here, okay? Here's the question. So you mentioned that this DeFi stack, so is it the blueprint of most DeFi platforms, even play to earn?
Well, when you consider the entire blockchain and cryptocurrency space, overall, it's one huge market of buyers and sellers. So they all use the DeFi stack in some form. So you can name any platform in the blockchain space or any decentralized application currently existing related to staking, swaps, trading, and also even gaming. So when you interact with any one of these platforms, in a way you are giving up something and taking away something as well. So
Right. Because I think in terms of the audience who probably interacts with, I know Axie Infinity is huge. Maybe Uniswap, PancakeSwap, SushiSwap, maybe, but I can guarantee OpenSea and Axie Infinity, people, I know they use this here in the Philippines and abroad, that they use these platforms hands down.
PancakeSwap is the most popular one. That's what I use most of the time.
Right. Okay. Cool. So what I want to do is I want to really break it down for the viewers on a step-by-step basis. So we'll go through each layer, and what I want to do is I want to make this make-believe project. How about that? We'll call it a make-believe project, and I want to build a simple gaming decentralized exchange. Okay, so just roll with me on this idea. Okay, just roll with me here. Okay, so with my made-up project, let's do a layer one thing. So this is the settlement layer. So I want users to have Lupa token. Okay, I know it sounds very familiar to Luna, but let's just say Lupa token. Let's just call it that.
Why is it called Lupa?
Well, yeah, soil, land, things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I want to build this simple gaming DeFi exchange. I want to use the token, the Lupa token, as the platform's token. So they can use this token to buy up in-game currency. Okay.
Is it like in-app purchases?
That's the goal. Yes, that's the goal. So for example, if you're in, let's say, this made-believe game that I created, okay, in order to get more in-game currency, you would need to get Lupa token. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, keep going.
Okay, now, if I remember correctly, so we have layer 2. Now, layer 2. So I want to back up Lupa token with 5% Bitcoin, 5% on Polygon, and 90% on Ethereum. And let's say this project, for now, we're just starting out as a, let's call it a, what's the term called again? Kind of like a Kickstarter program or a Kickstarter game sort of thing. It's equivalent to, let's say, 1 million pesos just to back Lupa token. Okay, now let's say over time, if the game is successful and people want to buy up more of Lupa token, they would need to exchange, let's say, Bitcoin, Polygon, or Ethereum for it, but something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Layer 3.
All right. So now, if I remember right, layer 3 is the protocol layer. Okay. So the feature I want, let's just keep it simple. I want to do a swap. Okay. It's a very, very simple swap that I want to do. I want to use Ethereum. Okay. Now, I know this sounds bad, but again, just hear me out on this, because I'm thinking that this game will be successful. Let's say 1 Ethereum will give me 100 Lupa tokens. I know that sounds bad, but this is a very simple explanation. Okay.
I have a question lang, Slide.
Yeah.
Kasi most newbies in cryptocurrency, they always ask, why can't I just buy Luna or this tokens right away, like just straight up like this? For example, Lupa token. Why can't I just buy it right away? Why do I need to buy Ethereum first or other kinds of coins? Why can't I just go straight, like from fiat to the token?
Okay, so there's a lot of factors in that in terms of buying it straight. Now, one of the first factors is this. When you start dealing with buying up cryptocurrencies, let's say Lupa token straight from, let's say, Philippine peso, you start to run into a lot of regulation issues because let's say the token isn't registered with the BSP or the SEC. You run into a lot of regulation issues, okay? So usually that's kind of avoided. Number 2, when we talk about DeFi, what tends to happen and has worked ever since the whole DeFi thing came about through Ethereum was the fact that if you wanted to buy up token, let's say in this case, Lupa token directly, it's best to buy it up with another cryptocurrency, let's say Ethereum. Yeah. So that way it's more like Ethereum is kind of like the wall, or it's kind of like a safety measure that says, hey, you bought Ethereum first, okay, probably from Philippine peso, okay, or maybe from a credit card, whatever. So you bought up Ethereum first. Now, what you do with that Ethereum, now, you are the custodian of that Ethereum. You can do whatever you want with it. So in terms of how DeFi works, usually what tends to happen is you swap out, let's say, a major cryptocurrency like Ethereum to another token. Now, the reason why you would do that is very simple. It's the fact that there's gas involved. So if you were to buy up, let's say, Lupa token directly, you would still need Ethereum in this case because you have to pay for gas. And gas on the Ethereum network is paid by what? Ethereum, or the gas token. But yeah, that's the reason why.
Okay, so it's just the same thing. So when you buy it directly with fiat, it's just the same thing.
Yeah.
Is it like a little cheaper, since you're not gonna, because when you're going to like buy Ethereum, because that's what you're gonna do first. You're gonna buy Ethereum first.
Hmm.
I believe there's like a certain fee when you buy. Then when you swap Ethereum to Lupa token, there's another fee. So it's like there are two fees.
Right. So the two fees. So if you're familiar, let's say with which exchange are you familiar with? Pancake Swap, Sushi Swap? Which one did you
Pancake
mention?
swap.
Pancake Swap. So there is a fee, and that fee is basically like it's not the network fees. It's kind of like their version of the exchange fees, right?
Yeah.
So when you use or when you perform a function like a swap, or in this case an exchange, you're paying a very little to the platform because they have to make money, right?
Mhm.
The second part is no long it's not the admin fees. It's actually just gas, because again, in order to do anything on the blockchain, energy is required in the form of a particular cryptocurrency. So if you said Pancake Swap, it's going to be Binance or BNB token. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's going to pay for the gas. So
Binance
that
Smart Chain.
yeah, you mentioned Pancake Swap, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Pancake Swap is, I think, Binance Smart Chain. So BNB would pay for the gas. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
So, in this case, when you, because with my understanding and for the understanding of our viewers, they will be more protected if they buy first. For example, with this one, if they buy Ethereum first before they swap to Lupa token, so it's like they're more protected with their money,
I guess you can
unlike
use the
going,
term.
unlike going directly buying Lupa token.
Well, in the case of protection, the idea of buying up Ethereum first is simply of the matter that it's just more easier to switch out. Okay. Now, let me just remind the audience out there. Years ago, there was this idea of initial coin offerings and special token offerings. I forget, but the security token offerings. That's what it is. STOs. So ICOs and STOs, and they perform the same exact function of what you're saying. That why not buy the token up directly with cash?
Mm.
Now, what tended to happen, and a few projects did this early on, is that when they said, "Hey, we're going to sell this token or this coin," and in order to get it, you have to be on the list and you can pay for cash on it. What tended to happen is that they got into a lot of lawsuits. Okay, a lot of lawsuits.
Yeah.
Um, so the safe play, really, with a lot of the DeFi projects out there is very simple: to just swap it out for the token, because that avoids the whole ICO STO issues where
It's gonna be
um,
more complicated,
right. So this is the more simple way to do it, is to do the swap instead. Yeah.
especially if the token is really new.
Oh yeah, big time. Because again, when it comes to like tokens, especially tokens that say they have one-to-one value to a particular fiat, that's already an issue with the SEC, and they don't want that. So you go into a lot of legality issues, and you go to you go to court,
Yeah, yeah. Now I understand.
right? So, but when it comes to DeFi, the objective of DeFi here, why we want to do this, why I'm choosing to do the swap for this made-up project, is because I want to get around that. Okay, I want to also provide that ability where if this project does go live, the swap, let's say for example Ethereum, the swap, I get the Ethereum, which I can then put into my liquidity pool, which then backs up Lupa token. You see why I want to do the swap now? Because I want to provide that layer two, um, layer two protocol, basically is to back up the token.
With a good asset.
Right. All right. So let's move on. So if I remember layer four, this is the application layer. So the blockchain I want to do this on is obviously blockchain, because I'm very familiar with the blockchain, especially doing smart contracts. Okay. Especially on Solidity.
So Solidity is I believe this is a programming language of Ethereum.
Oh, that is correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
the most used programming language.
Yeah. Now, yeah, it's actually very common, especially with blockchains that are called EVM or EVM blockchains, Ethereum Virtual Machine blockchains. Because what's going to happen is when you learn Solidity, let's say on Ethereum, okay, any other EVM blockchain out there, and then you learn Solidity from, what tends to happen is, let's say you are going to program on Polygon, yeah. The Solidity program that you did on Ethereum can be easily transferred over to Polygon, meaning all you have to do is take the same code.
Just copy the code.
Well, not exactly. It's just redeploy the same code onto Polygon, onto Binance Smart Chain, because they are EVM blockchains. Now, with all this said and done, guys, here we go. I want to show you something. If you can share my screen. I just built it. Okay. So basically, this is what I call Lupa swap. And basically, again, I know it's bad, but basically what I can do here is I can swap 1 ETH for, let's say, 100 Lupa tokens, and I can exchange it. I got my MetaMask going, things like that, and boom. Now, this confirmation is going to take a while, but I think you understand the idea of what's going on here, of the swap, of how I used your presentation today and kind of built out my own DeFi project.
Yeah. Just got it.
All right. So in a sense, yeah. So that's pretty much it. So again, thank you so much, Queenie. Thank you so much for providing that information. This presentation was awesome, and I think the audience is a bit more aware of DeFi, FinTech, and the DeFi stack. And I think we have a very good understanding now because, again, we walked through it step by step, and hopefully the information that you provided, people out there, the audience, can start building out their own projects. And Queenie, thank you so much for coming on today's show and gracing us with your expertise and knowledge.
Yes, thank you so much. And I would like to tell everyone that the DeFi Stack is really the blueprint to most projects entering or wanting to enter and build on the blockchain and DeFi space. So just do your own research and just check out all these layers and just review this video again so you can have all of the necessary details that you need to create your own DeFi business. So thank you so much, Sly, for making me a guest here in Crypto Chic here on TNC. And now I think the audience is a bit more aware now of DeFi, FinTech, and the DeFi stack.
All right, awesome. Anyway, that's yeah, thank you so much. Anyway, that's it, guys. That's my time. My name is Joseph Sylvester. This is
Queenie Rehman, and
all
bye,
right,
guys.
guys.
Thank you so
We're
much.
out. Bye, guys.